Welcome to the Faithful Fathering Podcast. Thank you for joining us. This is Rick Wirtz, founder and president of Faithful Fathering, where the mission is to encourage and equip dads to be faithful fathers. As dad that prioritizes physical presence, is engaged emotionally, and leads spiritually by example. The vision is to engage dads in raising a godly generation by reinvigorating the church on the fathering front. Today we're going to initiate a discussion around Where Men Hurt. Where Men Hurt is a ministry founded by Andrew Landry. Before I introduce Andrew, I want you to know that Faithful Fathering exists to help you be the dad the next generation needs to see. I do want to point you to our website, faithfulfathering.org, where you can click on the For Dads button to see a history of vlogs, studies, and anything else available, any other resources. All will complement these podcasts. And as always, this will be a very practical discussion that I pray blesses you on your journey as the man, husband, and father you're called to be. So in the studio with me today is to talk about Where Men Hurt is Andrew Landry. He's founder of Where Men Hurt. He's also a husband, father, and granddad. Go ahead.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Andrew.
How you doing, man? Thank you for having me. My name is Andrew Landry. Like they said, I was born and raised in Texas. Been here all my life. Married with 3 adult children, 2 baby grandchildren. So just trying to enjoy life to the fullest.
You aren't getting any older. You look pretty good there.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
As us granddads go. Huh?
Right, absolutely.
Well, there's a very big event coming up. I understand it's the 4th annual Where Men Hurt Conference. Can you give us a broad brush overview of what that conference is about?
So the conference, what it does is it tackles the issues of the man as a whole. So we look at where men hurt in their mental health, their physical health, their finances, business, relationships, fatherhood, and different various topics. So that's what we do as an overview, trying to get men to be a place of where they're whole.
Fantastic. And that is scheduled for Saturday, August 27th. What's the window of time, and what do men get for being there?
So it's the 27th again. It's at San Jacinto College North, right across the way here on Wallaceville Road. Men, breakfast will be provided. Also, lunch will be provided.
Wow.
And they'll get an opportunity to hear some really great speakers, some great topics, and also an opportunity for them to engage. Mm-hmm. A lot of times men don't engage, so we're going to make sure we include in a component that allows them to address those issues.
Fantastic. Now, I looked it over, and it looks like there's a tremendous diversity of topics. So men are hurting everywhere, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about the topics and the speakers that you have lined up.
So we have very, very diverse group, like you said, and they come from all ranges. So it's very important that when you're bringing in a panel or discussion for men, that everybody is not at the high level so that they don't feel like they can connect. So my guy that's speaking about finance, Donald Kimball Jr., he is amazing with finance, does stuff on financial literacy. Dr. Cordell Wokich, who does the conversation, he's a urologist, and he's talking on physical health. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons we picked this time is because September is Prostate Awareness Month. Mm. And so we want to kind of get some information out before that month. So that's why Dr. Wokich, and he's a regular, this is his 4th year. Dr. Thompson, Lawrence Thompson, he's a clinical psychologist. He'll be talking to us about mental health and kind of the avenues and the things that help us to recognize where we are mentally.
That has to be a huge issue coming off of COVID and all the isolation. You know, men tend to love isolation, but it isn't necessarily the healthiest mental place to be, huh?
Absolutely, and he's going to tackle that very good. He's very good at that. And then also we have Dr. Larry Moore, who is he's the lead for a fraternity, and so they talk a lot about relationships. When you look at fraternities, it's kind of like relationship based. So he'll be talking about relationships.
Are you talking about like a men's fraternity with Robert Lewis, or is it just a separate whole
No, it's
issue?
a men's fraternity, maybe college fraternity type group, that kind of group.
Yeah.
So and the primary reason is because we understand the value of that relationship, and they buy into it, they support it, and so giving us some insight on relationships.
I mean, we have to relate to each other.
Absolutely. That's the hard part.
That's
And then my speaker on business is a well known in the community, Warren Broadnax, and he's the founder of a company called She's Happy Hair, and you'll get his story when you come, but basically started selling hair products out of the trunk of his car, and now has a successful business all across the United States.
Fantastic.
So he's going to talk about that.
So he's going to give us some insight on what the foundations of business are, and I'm sure some of the men will be business owners there at the conference, right?
Yeah, and then my astute speaker, Dr. Rick Wirtz, will be talking to us about fatherhood. So giving us some insight on the processes and kind of the topics of being a father and being a faithful father.
Right. And I saw Mr. Donald Morton talking about ReMan. Now, what is ReMan?
So Donald Morton is a really good friend of mine, and he has an organization called ReMan, and what they do is they help build the leadership and legacy of men. And so what he'll be talking about is how to reman, because we have some learned things that we need to unlearn. And so that process of remanning, he talks about, life, leadership, and legacy for the man.
Mm. So we're going to blast through the toxic masculinity concepts and say this is healthy masculinity, and rebuke some of the femininity that is going on out there with men today, huh?
Absolutely.
Now, what kind of men do you expect to see there? Are you going to see a broad with this diversity, a diverse group of topics and speakers? Are you going to expect to see diverse age groups as well, or is there a specific age group that you're going after?
No, I think it'll be a diverse, and as I'm looking at registration, probably as young as 16 up to, I think I have a guy that's 82. Mm-hmm. So the age range is not going to be the issue. It's just a matter of getting more men to register so that we can get them there.
Is there a minimum age?
There is no minimum age, but what I do express, because I have some parents that are like my son to come, there's going to be some really deep topics that we're talking about. So maturity is more important than age, so we obviously don't want to put someone in a bad situation by getting information that they're not able to use and properly address, but we don't want to turn away anybody that has the capacity to be able to understand and develop more.
Sure. That's beautiful, because I think that I guess that's one of my questions to you. I guess, what are some of the outcomes that you might be looking for as you see this diverse group of men come together? What are the outcomes that you've seen over previous conferences, and what's your hope to see come out of this?
I think the primary thing is self-awareness. Mm-hmm. Like men, we think we got it all together, and so we're not able to really see the places where we falter, because we got it together. We know what we're doing. We've been doing this for so many years, all of that. So the first thing that I'm looking for is self-awareness, and then after that comes self-accountability. Mm-hmm. So now I have this information, now can I hold myself accountable to that to make the necessary steps? And then, finally the growth part, the follow-up and what are the next steps. And so those kind of what we're looking to accomplish this week.
Okay. So am I understanding right that when you say self-aware, is that being vulnerable as men, to suggest that men can be accountable to each other with lies. Right. We can be accountable to lies, right? But that vulnerability piece to open up to truthfully what's going on, is that what I'm understanding with the self-awareness?
Yes, sir. Self-awareness is the ability to see beyond the lies, right? The real you. Mm-hmm. And so we want to tap into that. Transparency and vulnerability are absolute must for this place of healing to come. Mm-hmm. And so we're all dealing with some form of hurt. And the only way to really get past that is to be able to address it from a transparent and vulnerable position.
Well, I really tip my cap to you there, Andrew, because I think, men, we don't like to hurt. We'll shut down hurt. We'll cover hurt. We'll bandage it up, but the wound is still there.
Right.
And so to create an environment that welcomes that kind of opportunity to be real and to have those discussions really can provide some great results. So, are there next steps, or is there a particular is there a church affiliation? Is there a community affiliation, or is it does it feed back into your ministry on Monday night gatherings?
Right. So it's primarily that. One thing I'm careful about or cautious about is once you bring in the church affiliation, you lose some.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't want to do that. We want to make sure that everybody was comfortable, even those that aren't versed in the scripture. Mm-hmm. So it's just all about trying to get men to that place. And we use Where Men Hurt as a funnel to be able to address those issues and then funnel them into those different areas, whether it's the church, whether it's the community involvement, whether it's the workforce. So that's how we try to do it.
Fantastic. So that's fabulous. Like you say, sometimes the church affiliation, somebody thinks about Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, Pentecostal, whatever the case may be, and you kind of put a project an opinion on that.
Right.
And what you're saying is you're blasting through all that to just say, let's be real and talk about where men hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do men go about registering for this conference?
So it's a couple different ways they can register. One, they can go to the website, which is wheremenhurt.org. There's a register now button. They can register directly there. It's also listed on Eventbrite, so they can go to Eventbrite and register. Either way is fine.
Okay, so you hear that, man? Go to wheremenhurt.org or Eventbrite and sign up for the Saturday, August 27th, Where Men Hurt Conference at the San Jacinto College North up off of Wallaceville. It's the 4th annual conference. It'll be packed with solid information, diverse group of speakers that will hit every dimension of life, just about, from what I've heard. So, Andrew, thank you for your time, and we'll hope that we see a full house there. I'm looking forward to it. So, dads, I invite you to join me and Andrew for a wonderful morning. It goes from 8 o'clock in the morning. It feeds you breakfast, lunch, and wraps up by 3:30. Is that right? 3:30. Assuming that dad guy doesn't flap his gums too much.
We should be okay.
Okay. Well, man, thank you for tuning in here, and I hope to see you at San Jac North on Saturday, August 27th. In the meantime, stay focused on being the dad you're called to be, the dad the next generation needs to see. God bless. Godspeed.